We all need our own space from time to time, so imagine having to share your body with a mischievous spirit who won't leave you alone. Today's video was requested by Talon Ozcan. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Demons are demigods, spirits, or supernatural beings that occupy an intermediate state between gods and mankind. Depending on their depictions, demons are seen as evil or harmful entities that can cause demonic possession, or as spiritual entities which can be conjured and controlled. The word demon is derived from the Greek word daimon, which didn't initially have connotations of malevolence or evil, as it stemmed from eudaimonia, meaning happiness or good-spiritedness. Translations of religious texts and misinterpretations have led to demons being represented as evil. In many religions and occult traditions, the existence of demons remains an important aspect. Their supposed ability to possess people is one of the main aspects that makes demons feared in cultures around the world. Number 5. The incident in Rio de Janeiro. A video of a man whom many argued appeared to be possessed by the devil has been circulating the internet since March 2017. The footage shows a wounded man at the Miguel Coto Hospital in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, terrifying staff by pacing around the hospital, bent backwards. He'd apparently been shot in the face. Blood was pouring out of the gaping wound on his face as he screamed in a raspy voice while strutting on the corridors. Witnesses claimed that he seemed to be possessed and staff were afraid to approach him. They recorded him from a safe distance, attempting to calm him down so that they could begin to treat him. Number 4. The incident in Peru. May 2016, approximately 80 children from the Elsa Perea Flores School in northern Peru experienced what the locals called a case of mass demonic possession. Aged 11 to 14, they described visions of a man in black trying to kill them. Many of them fainted, began vomiting, or suffered severe muscular convulsions. It began in April and quickly spread. Footage shows barely conscious children repeatedly screaming while appearing delirious. An unnamed student said it was a tall man dressed in black with a big beard, and it felt like he was trying to strangle me. One schoolgirl was seen holding her neck as if someone was strangling her while screaming, "Take it out!" Apparently, the school was built on a mafia graveyard, and bones as well as bodies have allegedly been found there. Some say this is behind these events, while others believe that the kids played games involving Ouija boards or other rituals and invoked demons. Demons are often mentioned in literature, occult, folklore, mythology, and many religions, often characterized as malevolent. In Christianity, demons are seen as fallen angels or descendants of the union of women and angels, known as Nephilim, and considered to be a source of sin and evil on earth. According to the book of Enoch, demons, such as Azazel, led us to sin by teaching the forbidden divine knowledge. Demons are also said to have given us weapons, which we then used to kill each other. The Roman Catholic Church doesn't see angels and demons as mere symbolic devices, but as real beings that can attack humans. In Islam, the most powerful demons are known as Ifrit, class of infernal death spirit believed to inhabit the layers of the underworld or desolated places, such as caves and ruins. Described as having a fiery appearance with flames leaping from their mouths, Ifrit are said to be ruthless and evil and will take the appearance of Satan or of the deceased at the time of their death. In Jewish tradition, demons are called Shedim, descendants of serpents that can cause misfortune or sickness. Throughout their many depictions, demons are often viewed as being under divine authority and don't always act of their own accord. Although feared by many, there are some ceremonial practices known as Goetia, in which people willfully attempt to summon demons for power, knowledge, or assistance. A textbook of magic known as Grimoire, detailing the abilities and names of demons and giving instructions on how to conjure them, is typically used. Number 3. Devil Letter. A letter written in the 17th century by a Sicilian nun claiming she was possessed by Lucifer was translated in September 2017. One morning in 1676, Sister Maria Crocifissa della Concione, born Isabella Tomasi, awoke at the convent covered in ink with a letter in front of her that had been written in code. She told the other sisters that she'd been possessed by the devil and forced to write it. The letter was displayed at the convent, and the generations of nuns that followed failed to decipher its meaning. In 2017, a team of researchers from the Ludum Science Center in Catania, Sicily, used software to finally crack the code. The letter revealed disturbing messages about the relationship between man, God, and Lucifer. God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit are described as deadweights, and it also says that God thinks he can free the mortals. It goes on to say God is a human invention, part of a system that doesn't work for anyone. It's commonly believed that people can be harmed by demons through obsession when the demon acts externally, or possession when it acts internally. In Christianity, possession is believed to derive from the devil or other lesser demons. Through possession, victims become agitated, utter blasphemy, gain access to hidden knowledge, and speak in foreign tongues. It's also characterized by convulsions, fainting, and erased memories. Some reports detail the sudden appearance of lesions or injuries such as scratches or bite marks, major changes in both facial and vocal characteristics, and bouts of superhuman strength. Those possessed have no control over the possessing entities that torment them until death, or they're forced to leave through exorcism and other rituals. The oldest references to demonic possessions come from the Sumerians. They believed that all of the ailments plaguing the body or the mind were caused by Gedim or sickness demons. There's numerous cuneiform clay tablets containing prayers to deities asking for protection from demons. Demonic possession is also present in shamanic cultures, and shamans perform exorcisms. Diseases are thought to be caused by the presence of a vengeful spirit in the patient's body. Number 2. Anneliese Michel. Numerous fictional works, including Scott Derrickson's 2005 film The Exorcism of Emily Rose, have been loosely inspired by the story of Anneliese Michel. This German lady had been suffering from epilepsy and mental illnesses which progressively worsened throughout the course of her life. As a teenager in 1973, Anneliese became suicidal and started hearing voices and displaying a fear of religious symbolism and artifacts. She began self-harming and apparently ate insects and even drank her own urine. Any help she received in various psychiatric institutions didn't do much to improve her condition. She began believing she'd been possessed by demons and asked her parents for a priest. Local priests performed almost 70 exorcisms on her, some lasting up to 4 hours for 10 months between 1975 and 1976. At one point, she stopped eating or consulting her doctors and relied solely on exorcisms. The rites, however, weren't enough to save Anneliese from her demons. She died in her home in July 1976. At the time of her death, she only weighed 68 pounds, and both her knees were broken due to continuous prostrations. Anneliese's parents and the priests that performed the rites were charged by the German state with negligent homicide, arguing that she died from starvation and neglect. The exorcism tapes were presented during the trial. According to the priests, the demons possessing Anneliese identified themselves as Nero, Hitler, Cain, Judas Iscariot, Lucifer, and others. Nobody served any jail time, and Anneliese's case has been labeled as a mixture of abuse, religious hysteria, negligence, and misinterpretation of mental illness. Depending on the culture, there's various prayers, talisman, icons, symbols, or gestures that people use to ward off demons. In the case of demonic possession, the religious or spiritual practices of driving away a demon or malevolent entity from a person or area is known as an exorcism. The exorcist might perform rituals, cause the possessing entity to swear an oath, or command it to leave the body or place in the name of a higher power. Despite being an ancient practice, exorcisms are still integrated into the belief systems of many religions and cultures. The possessed are absolved from the responsibility of their actions because they're believed to be unwillingly controlled by demons. Exorcisms are regarded as a form of treatment, and aside from using restraints, the general view across cultures is that the possessed should not be harmed. Exorcists must make sure that the person is truly possessed and not suffering from another medical condition. There's been cases throughout history where mental illness was misinterpreted as demonic possession. The scientific community is generally skeptical about the authenticity of demonic possessions and have attributed the associated symptoms to the power of suggestions or various illnesses such as dissociative identity disorder, schizophrenia, hysteria, mania, psychosis, epilepsy, or Tourette's syndrome, all of which may be aided by conventional medicine. Number 1. Michael Taylor. When Michael Taylor and his wife Christine were living in the quiet town of Ossett, Yorkshire, they often attended a prayer group led by Marie Robinson. When Christine accused Michael of having an affair with Marie, he became angry and violent, which was uncharacteristic for him, and said that he felt evil within him. As his behavior became more erratic, a local vicar suspected that he'd been possessed by demons and called ministers experienced in exorcisms. The rites were performed between the 5th and 6th of October 1974. More than 40 demons were cast out, including those of lewdness, incest, bestiality, and blasphemy. Exhausted, the priests allowed Michael to return home. However, they feared that 3 demons, namely violence, insanity, and murder, still resided within him. When he got home, Michael Taylor brutally murdered his wife and strangled their poodle. He killed Christine with his bare hands, tearing her tongue and eyes out. A policeman found him in the street naked and covered in blood. After a highly publicized case, he was acquitted on the grounds of insanity and sentenced to several years in a psychiatric hospital. After his release, he gained media attention again when in 2005, he was found guilty of indecently touching a teenage girl. 7 days into his prison sentence, he began showing the same strange behavior he did before murdering Christine in 1974. Giant men have appeared on the internet. The most famous of these was the story about a giant human skeleton uncovered in the desert during gas exploration in Saudi Arabia. Pictures were included linked with the Islamic story of the Prophet Hud and the powerful giant tribe of Ad.